Okay, so I was saying in software there's a front end and there's a back end. The front end is the user interface. It's the part that you see. It's the part the user deals with. It's the buttons. It's the words. It's the text. It's all the stuff that you can see. It's the pictures. And the back end, there's a couple of different parts to the back end. There is the databases where the information is stored, and then there's the code, and then there's the APIs, and we haven't got to the APIs, or we haven't really got to the databases yet. But I'm giving
The
you
API like the linking bit.
say again, sir.
Does the API like link it between the
It
front end and the back end and all the
we
code you
we
write
we
to it?
will come to the API. I will show you the APIs in a minute. Okay, just to recap for the recording. So what I did to get to this is I pressed Control Shift and I. Okay, Control Shift and I. This is the developer console. This has become extremely robust. Okay, how do I just mute this? Okay, so this has become extremely robust. I mean, there's so much to do in here. It's crazy. But and when I was working at Bank of America, I was frequently in this menu. This is something that if you're a software tester or a developer, you will be in here. That's why it's called the developer console. So each one of these is an element. These an element is denoted by this tag. This is an HTML tag. This is a link tag. This is a style tag. The beginning of a tag is like that. So let me open up Notepad real quick. And now they've got Notepad all fucking crazy. Now it opens like 50,000 notepads. So the beginning of a tag is like this, and the end of a tag
Yeah.
is like this. Okay, so whatever exists inside of here is going to be affected by what the
Is
tags are.
one element.
So this
Oh, okay.
yeah. So one thing I know from HTML. This is called HTML, by the way. So one thing is there's a system to it. It's called whatever. It's HTML, but one I recall right now is the H tags, H1. I mean, I could give you the whole. I could tell you so much, dude. So H1 that means header one. So that would actually affect the size of the text. So this is actually a really key point. So let's do this. I'm gonna say give me, because I don't remember how to do this like off the top of my head right now. I could, but it will take too long. So give me a basic HTML web page that I can edit in Notepad for demonstration. Okay. Okay, so here it goes. It's gonna finish up real quick. Okay, I'm gonna copy that code. I'm gonna paste it here. Okay, I'm gonna do it again. Copy, paste, and let's just zoom out a little bit. And I'm gonna save this as, now it's not gonna be an HTML file until I save it as a HTML file. So let's say this is, and everything I do in the video, I recommend that you do it as well. This is big. This is
Yeah.
big junior stuff, man. This is a big deal. So I'm going to change it to not a .text file, because that's not something that a web browser can consume and as a website. So I'm going to save it as charlie.html, and I'm going to hit save. Okay. So now when we go to the desktop and we find that charlie.html, wherever that is. Charlie, look at some naked pornography on my desktop. Okay, here it is, charlie.html.
Cool.
So it says, welcome to my webpage. This is a paragraph of text of my first webpage. So what is all this stuff on?
Ooh.
Yeah, so is this Copilot? It needs to go away. What is this? Make it go
Oh,
away.
that was cool. I did not know it was that simple.
Yeah, dude, it's super simple. So HTML is great. I mean, the amount of stuff you can do with it is super fun. It's super cool, man. So it's really easy. It's very like, so if you're learning to code, this is where I started. This is a great place to start learning how to code. So let's open back up the code and compare the two. Let's compare the two and see what the fuck is going on here. So this equals this, and so the document type the coding is really not that hard. It's all written in very plain English. So The document type is HTML. Great, good to know.
Yeah.
The language is English. I mean, this is not necessary. Honestly, you could get rid of these, and it will still work. Let's try that. Let's see if it still works. I'm gonna hit Control S to save it. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna push F5, which is gonna refresh it. See, it still works. That's this other stuff.
Oh,
This other stuff is like it's newer. Like when I learned HTML a long time ago, this was not necessary, and it's still not necessary. I don't know. It's just something that they do nowadays. I don't know why. It's probably for some uniformity.
okay.
Yeah, so it's not, you don't need it, but you do start it with a head. You have to have a head or a header. It's very similar to a letterhead
Oh,
or
okay.
anything
Like
else.
title.
Yeah, so the head.
Yeah.
So what we're saying, we're defining. We don't even need this. This is defining the character set. UTF-8. Okay, UTF-8
Is that like
is
the size?
UTF-8 is a character set. It's a variable length character encoding standard used for electronic communication. It's defined by the Unicode standard. It's the Unicode standard 8 or something like that. So let's have a look and see what that actually is. UTF-8. Maybe. So UTF this is like a whole other. So basically, let's see. Like for instance, the dollar sign. The dollar sign in binary is 010100. But the binary of UTF-8 is 00100100. So you don't really need to know all
Oh,
this.
okay.
Yeah, it's just a character encoding. So these are all the UTF-8 symbols. It's a very basic, very standard symbol. So like the symbol you have in your name here, this A, this is not a UTF-8 symbol. This is something else. And so now what we have is we have a lot of there's a lot of these standards together. There's a lot of them, and let's I mean like UTF-8, like where's UTF-7? You know, there's a lot of these. It looks like this
Yeah.
recording module is blocking my ability to navigate backwards. That's okay. So we will let's type in different character encodings, and we won't spend much time on this because it's really not necessary. So character encodings, there's Unicode. You don't really need to know this, but if you see it, you might it might confuse you, so it's kind of a good idea to recognize it. ASCII. ASCII is like, I think, the most basic one. ISCI, the Indian script code for information interchange. They have, they've got their Hindu symbols and all their languages. There's
Oh, yeah.
Right. There's Chinese ones. There's Russian ones. There's Unicode, which is supposed to be the one that's UTF. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
This is what, like, if you'll notice, if you're in China, which I know you're not, but if you're in China and you look at a website and you say you're in China, let's go to a Chinese website. Let's go to I don't know, Chinese website. I don't fucking care. Like a seriously Chinese fucking website. Let's go to like an extra Chinese website. Let's see. It has to be in Chinese. Okay, so this is a .cn.
Yeah.
So it's
Alright,
probably
so
made by a Chinese person. It's probably hosted in China, even though it's in English. Let's see. Can we change it to fucking Chinese? Like, this is really Chinese. This link is in Chinese. Let's click on it. Okay, it doesn't like that. But anyway, so if you're in China and this website was in Chinese, let's see this one. This one looks really Chinese. Okay, it's not Chinese enough. Let's click this one. We need more Chinese. All right. Say you're in China. They have a completely different linguistic system that absolutely completely different than what we have in the West. So if you press Control Shift I on a Chinese website,
it basically means like
yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the Chinese code in English,
algebra.
right? You with me, Charlie? You have a question?
Oh. Yeah, no. I don't understand.
Yeah, yeah. So
Pretty
let me
carry.
just
Yeah.
let me just keep blasting past here. So the Chinese code in English. They don't code in Chinese because the programming languages were written by British and American people. They didn't. What the fuck are they going to do writing code in Chinese? They're not. So the whole world has to do this, and this is Unicode. This is like UTF-8. It's a safe way to think of things like that. I don't think that's 100% accurate, but that's how I understand it, and I get by just fine. So the Chinese, they code in English. The Indian
Yeah.
people, they code in English. Everybody codes in English. So that's the deal for that. So
Yeah.
this is the beginning of what the back end is. This is the like the front of the back end. So if we go,
Yeah.
so let's go to network. Let's see if we can get some examples of API calls here. Okay, that's really Chinese. This is like a list of this is funny. This is all their characters, actually. You see that? I don't know why they had to do
Oh.
that, but that's absolutely, it has to be a symbol for all of, look at that. Their language is so fucked up. But anyway, it's all like, symbol based. But let's see if we
Yeah.
can get an example. Let's just check the internet. Example of API call and response. Sample API requests, Microsoft Cloud for Retail. Okay, so, okay, that's really complex. Let's just ask Copilot. Sample of API call and response. I wish I had some API material. Install them. I think I might. Let's see, soap UI. I don't. This is a tool I used to use at work. I wish I had pictures. So, oh, Python code to make an API call and handle the response. Okay, let's try it. Print. Okay, if response code equals 200, print the API response. Okay, let's just try that. It's saying it's not going to give us like a fake example. It's saying here's a way that you can actually just do it. And Charlie, the stuff I'm telling you, I had to pay thousands of dollars to learn this. I went to school for this shit. So this is good stuff, man. And I owe them a lot of money, and they call me every day, and I'm not paying. So let's move along here. So let's say API call. This is going to be called API call. So by the way, there's a standard when you're naming files in programming. There's something called camel case. You don't ever I don't want to ever see in your files over here what this is.
Yeah.
This person automate dice. This person, I downloaded this GitHub repository and they did not follow the convention here. What it should have been is lowercase automate and then like this automate dice. It's called camel case. So let's just call API test. So you want to always start with lowercase, never have spaces, never have underscores, never have special characters, and only it's you know what I mean. It's called camel
Okay.
case. So if there was another word, it would be like test another
Oh, it's
word.
like
Yeah, it's like that. Camel case. So anyway, so this is called API test. And let's not do that. And let's just paste what code it gave to us. And it's saying import request. This is probably a library that already exists within the Python code base, so it's probably not going to require any imports. Like we're not going to actually have to download anything. It's probably already a part of it.
oh, okay.
So let's just run this and see what happens. I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay, there it is. Okay, but it's not organized in the way that it should be. So let me ask, and I'll explain to you very quickly after I get it organized correctly. So can you adjust the code um, to format the JSON response correctly? Okay. Looks like there's another library for JSON. JSON, I will explain to you very, very shortly just a few moments. So we've got the code adjusted. So right now it did work. It went to this API URL. This is an API. It looks just like a website. It's the same. It's what it is. It's an
Yeah.
endpoint. It's an endpoint somewhere on the internet. And what's waiting at that endpoint is just a program. It's just more code, and it's waiting for a certain input. It's waiting for say there's an API at this end of this endpoint, and it's waiting for somebody to send it the words yes. And when it does that, it's like, okay, I know what to do, and then it takes that into itself, and it sends back a status code 200, which means it was a success. There's a bunch of status codes, but 200 is the one you want to see. 500 is bad. So there's just remember that 200 is the one you want to see,
Oh, okay.
right? And I'll show you a
Yep.
list of status codes. But so it's waiting for the word yes. You give it the word yes, and then it sends back the word no, and it will come back with that status code. And what it will come back as, it will come back as in a JSON format, which is JSON. I don't know what it stands for off the top of my head, but it did that. It gave us the response back, but it looks like shit. It looks like a fucking, like, what is this? Like it's all in one line, and I'll
What
show you.
language is that?
Say again.
Ooh.
Say
Oh, it seemed like it was written in
y-
Spanish.
yeah. So very commonly in I don't think that's Spanish. I think that's Latin. So very commonly in programming learning, they use a lot
Ooh.
of Latin. There's this thing called lorem ipsum. Let's see, lorem
Yeah,
ipsum.
that sounds very Latin.
Yeah, lorem ipsum. So lorem ipsum is whenever they need any like placeholder. Yes, it's right here. A placeholder text commonly used to demonstrate the visual form of a document or a typeface without relying on meaningful content. It's just like, I don't know what it means, but they use that Latin. You'll see Latin a lot, which is great. I love it, man, because
Oh, okay.
it's super Western centric. You know, it's like people talk shit about the West and all. I'm like, okay, well, you go program your own fucking, you go invent computers again on your own in your own language, and then we'll talk. We're using our shit over here. The whole fucking world is, and I love it. So anyway, we got back a response. Every API response is going to be in JSON format. Let's look at an example of JSON. Okay, this is it. This is it. So it's this organized key value system. Okay, where's the picture? Okay, so oh god, these are really shitty examples. Here's a good example. So this is it's a key value system. Charlie, this is really important stuff. This is like
Yep.
key information. So what happens here is there's a body. The body is starting on line number 1. It opens right here. This is an opening curly brace. It opens. This is the opening of the body, and then the body it closes here because it's in the same line. It's in the same column. This must have been opened somewhere
Oh,
else.
okay.
Right. So this is the opening of the body, and this is the closing of the body. Let's see if there's another example, but we'll have another example in just a moment. So then I talked about key and value. This is super key, very important stuff. So the key for this is status. The value is success. The key here is message. The value is data retrieved successfully. It's just you have one thing and then there's another part. That's all it means. Key and value. So that
Yep.
being said, we got our API response, and it's all in one line. Here's the opening of the body. Why is it all
Oh, but
what
it
the
should be written out in like multiple, like,
multiple
with,
lines?
yeah.
Yes, but yes, so we didn't format it. So there's the closing of the body. So we're like, well, what this to me, I don't want to read it like this. So we went to Copilot and we said, hey man, we want it in
Really
JSON,
form it.
right? So it's like, okay, well, it imports this JSON thing. That's great. Python is so cool. So anyway, let's put that in there and let's run it again. Let's run it again. Okay, now it looks fucking like something we recognize. Here's the opening of the body. Here's the key, and here's the value. Here's the key, and here's the value. If you'll notice, the integers, which are numbers, are not within quotation marks. I told you yesterday, if you recall, that strings of text are you can notice them because they're surrounded by quotation marks. For instance,
Yeah.
and that's
Oh,
a
so it's just like this
yeah,
is the algebra again.
it is similar, yes. I don't know. I'm not an algebra whiz. You probably know more about algebra than I do. But
It's just like substitution.
yeah. So you've got so it's pretty much a universal thing. So here's some text that's in JSON format from an API response. It's completely different than the Python code that we used to get that response. But if you'll notice, this string of text here is in quotation marks, and this string of text here is in quotation marks. But the integers, here's an integer right here. It's a 1, and it's not in quotation marks because it doesn't need to be. Integer, and here's another one. If the status code response equals 200, by the way, you have so much to learn, Charlie, if you really want to learn how to code. But equals means,
Yeah.
it means exactly. It has to be that. It's like it has to be that. It's not.
On the dot,
Yeah. So
the exact
yeah. So I
yes
don't
or
know. I
no,
can't
like
remember.
binary.
Let's see. What is the? Let's see. Let's ask. What is the difference? What is the difference between equals and equals in Python? Okay. In Python, equals and equals serve different purposes. The equal operator is used to assign a value to a variable. Okay, x equals 5. This assigns the value 5 to the variable x. Name equals Alex. This assigns the string Alice to the variable name. The equality operator, which is equals. The equality operator is used to compare two values and check if they are equal. It returns true if the value is equal and false if otherwise.
Oh, okay.
Great. So okay, let's see. Let's ask it. Can give me some code that will demonstrate this. Demonstrate this. Equals and equal that I can execute. Okay. So let's copy that and then let's see. This is so different than the way I learned to code. Like I learned to actually, we would type all of this shit. There was no Copilot, which is crazy. So let's go. Let's open a new one. So I'm going to click on the root folder. The root folder is the deepest folder in your folder structure. For instance, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example that you probably would be familiar with. So if you go to my computer and you go to the C drive, this is technically the root folder of your entire structure. You can't go any higher than this. This is the root. Okay, so there's a root folder within our project. If I create another folder, there's my camel case again. If I create another folder, this is a subfolder. So now we have a hierarchy.
Yep.
We have a hierarchy. So the highest in the hierarchy is going to be the root. So we're gonna create our what was I gonna do? Shit, I was gonna create what the fuck was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I was gonna create another Python file. So this one's gonna be called the equal operators. Okay, so shit, I didn't mean to add that to GitHub, but whatever. So then, okay, there it is. So let's look inside, and here's that code. Let's run it and see what happens. Then we'll analyze the code too. What is this? What is this? I don't think I copied it yet. I didn't copy nothing. Let's go back. There's that Alt tab and run. Okay, so here it is. We're assigning. This is the equal difference, right? We're assigning. Here we've created a variable, and it's equal to 10.
Yep.
The value of A is 10. The value of B is 20. Meaning they have two different values. So what it does next
Yeah.
is it
Okay. Yeah, I
right,
get this.
right. So it prints. The next thing it does is it prints, which means print to the console, which is down here. This is the console. It's going to print the value of
Yep.
A. And we'll take a break here in a minute because I don't want to overload you, man. But it's going to print the value of A. So there it does that. Value of A equals 10. Value of B equals 20. It printed the value of B on line 7. Now it's going to use it's going to compare the two using the double equal operator. And
they'll give you a true or false back reading and
yeah,
print.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So we created another variable called is equal, and is equal. The value of is equal is this comparison. Are A and B equal?
Yep.
Right. The value of is
Yep.
equal is the
Yeah. No, I get this.
operation. Yeah.
Algebra.
Yeah. So the value of it is the operation. So when we call upon is equal. When we say print is A equal to B, and then we call upon is equal is going to go, so from right here, it's going to go, okay, I want to go back here, and then, okay, it's equal to this. Okay, then I'm going to run this math. And then it's going to say, remember how earlier, let's see, where did it go? What this is kind of a key thing. So when we asked it, what is the difference? It said that the equality operator, it returns true or false, and that is what it did when we printed it. When we printed what the equality operator's output would be by assigning it to a variable and then putting it within the print statement, it wrote the words false. We didn't write the words false anywhere. We didn't type. There's no, the word false is not.
Equals bit.
Yeah, it doesn't exist anywhere in the code, but it comes out because that's the only thing it can tell you is it's true or false. So that's what it did. So that's it. I mean, do you understand that?
Yep.
Great, Charlie. You're a natural. You're a natural. So
This is algebra.
yeah, I don't know algebra.
Oh, you do know algebra though. You do.
I guess so.
This is just algebra.
Yeah, maybe I need to go back. I stopped paying attention in school around age 14, and that was around when we started learning that stuff.
Oh.
So that is okay. We need to loop back. I want to put a bow tie on this. Put a bow on this here, so we have a good arc. So let's go back to the API test thing. Why were we talking about equals operators? I don't. Okay, what the fuck is this? Can I not click? Okay, what was the deal? Let's run this again and see why we even jumped into that. I don't even know why.
Because you were trying to equals 200, and the 200 is the one that we want, and 500 is the one we don't want.
Exactly. So it's saying, yes, this is an if statement. Dude, there's so much to know. But this is really the if and else statements are like very easy to understand, and they're super hypercritical.
Yeah.
Like so it's saying
that sounds like
go ahead.
One or the other path. Like if this is true, then go to the next option. But if it's not, then it's like the next.
So you could make an entire video game, not a complicated one, but you could make a game with just entirely if else statements. So let's say and that's how programming used to be, way back when. So let's say give me an example of a text-based game that utilizes
Duolingo.
that utilizes if else statements. Okay. Okay, let's try it. I'm gonna create another Python file, and I'll put this on GitHub for you. And that's what they used to do in school. They would do exactly what I'm doing. They would show us a bunch of stuff like this. They would record it, and then they would upload everything to GitHub, and then we would go over it later. So this is the game.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the game. If else. And let's not do that. I'll do that later. So the game. Let's try and run a game. Okay, that's not the game. I didn't copy the game yet. The game is here. Let's run the game. Okay, welcome to the adventure game. You find yourself in a dark forest. Can you go left? You can go left or right. Which way do you want to go? So let's look at the code. It says if choice is left, then go left path. Whatever. That's whatever that's going to mean later. We'll see. Okay. It's starting. It's kind of just starting. It's saying left path. Okay, so we'll get to that in a second. Ooh, interesting. So in Python, normally in Java, which is what I know, it would say else if, but they've shortened a lot of stuff. So now it says elif. That's what this one's an elf.
Okay.
Yeah, else if. So else if the choice equals right, which is it has to be exactly those words, equals, which is what we talked about, the equality operator. Then go to right path. Else print invalid choice. Please type left or right. So let's type up. Okay, so what happened is it started the game. it gave you it said you find yourself in a dark forest. It printed that out. It gave you a choice input. That means you can type in there which way do you want to go. And then if you typed left, it'll go down to this left method. If you go down to the right, it'll go down to there's a right one down here somewhere. There it is. But if you type something else, it will print invalid choice. Please type left or right, and that's what we did.
And then it will just yeah.
Right. So that's down this whole thing. This could be so long. You could put so many. You could sit here and add else if statements. Let's add our own. Let's add our own. Let's say elif. Okay. I don't want the formatting is not good, but we would have to create a method too. So let's do elif. I don't like that. Like, how do we format it correctly? I guess like that. Okay, elif. Oh, we went way too far. So let's go back. Let's go back. I want to be right here. So you could. What I'm saying is you could add your own, and you could create your entire. You could create a very detailed game that way, a very detailed text-based game. Where in this game, let's play it to the end and see what it has. What it has to say. Let's say we want to go right. You walk down the path and you find a treasure chest. You want to open it? Yes. You open the chest and you find gold and jewels. You win. Okay, I won. So you could ask Copilot to make you the fucking biggest goddamn game. It would take years to complete, probably. I mean, you could make it like that if you wanted to. You could even incorporate AI. You paid for. Do you have? Oh, you paid, dude. Charlie, this is a good thing. And I think I'm gonna stop the recording here. I will soon. Fuck it. Bandwidth is free. But Charlie, you paid for ChatGPT 4.0, dude. So that means that you probably have an API key. And if you have an API key, then that's awesome because I actually really want one of those, but I don't have any money. And maybe I could use yours.
Yeah, I'll give you my account details.
That would be sick, dude. Because what this was all gonna lead up to, dude. Yeah. What this is all gonna lead up to is incorporating ChatGPT into your Python code. So what you can do, is you can have a game like this, just for instance, that is very small amount of code like this, but you could play it forever. Because what we could do is set it up so every time you do something,
it just comes up with the next response, and then
in the game you'll say, you'll query the API. Remember I talked about the API, man? So you'll query the ChatGPT API for the next when you get to the end, like we just did here. We got to the end of the yes, no, I got the gold. It would query ChatGPT API. It would give you back the JSON response from the API from ChatGPT.com, and then we would take that automatically and put that into Python code and just keep playing the game forever. Literally, I mean, so that's amazing. So I believe you got the plus version, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try access my chat GPT API key. Yeah, if you've got an API key, then we can go all around town with that shit, dude. Let's see here. I hate this crap. It's like when you Google something, like how do I? It leads you to a help file, and then usually there's no like link. It just gives you instructions, which drives me nuts. ChatGPT in the blog post, API articles. Okay, I think it's. Let's see here. How can I change my API key? Like, why is it such a bitch, dude? API, here it is. Where do I get my API key? Looks like Charlie sent me a chat.
Yeah, I just sent you my account details for the ChatGPT.
Okay, so yeah, I will log into that later, and I will because I got to start looking for a job. It's I need to work. Apparently, I need money, I guess, to pay my bills. So I will get the API thing working, and then the next lesson week I can show you how it works.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording right here, and I'll upload this to YouTube.